Happy Tuesday, everyone. I'm sorry I'm not with you today. My daughter, unfortunately, is still sick, and so I'm needing to be home with her and making sure she's getting better, comfortable, doing all that fun mom stuff. So I'm doing my best to make sure she gets better so I can be back with you guys hopefully by Wednesday. So today, the first thing that we're going to do is you're going to take a quiz. It's homework number 4 quiz. I did post about it on Schoology. And so I need you to take off everything from your desk except what is written on the board. Please take out your mole map gold sheet, your cations and anions gold sheet, your periodic table, a calculator, and a homework packet. The reason I'm having you take out your homework packet is because in my absence, I feel like I need to do something nice because I am still giving you a quiz even though I'm gone and not able to be here and answer any questions. So if you have your homework packet out, you can use your homework packet. You may not use your notes, but you may use your homework packet on your quiz today. Again, this is homework quiz number 4. Because I am allowing you to use your homework packet on the quiz, and it's only a 1-question quiz, it will be timed as well. So it's going to be timed for 10 minutes. So as soon as the sub hands out the quizzes, that she's going to time it for 10 minutes, and then you will be good to go. You should be able to finish that in that amount of time. Just a few friendly reminders. Please remember to show all of your work. Please remember to answer with the correct number of sig figs and to give units in your answer. So with that, I'll have her pause it and good luck on your quiz. Okay, now that you're done with your quiz, we're going to go into your Beers Law lab. So that's the lab that we did on Friday. So please go ahead and get that out. And this is the pre-lab that you did. And then in red bracketed here, this is all the data that you collected then on Friday. So we've kind of been working on this lab for 2 days now, and today hopefully is the last day of it. You guys will be finishing up and able to do your graph and whatnot. So I have Chromebooks here, and what you need to do is as soon as this video and this little podcast is over, you can get out your Chromebook, make your graph, and then analyze your data, and turn in your lab. You should be able to finish it by the end of the period. So as long as you're working quickly and productively. If you are messing around, you won't have enough time. So I can't stress that enough. You need to work productively. So under processing the data, it says open a Google Sheet and graph the concentration versus the absorbance for solutions 1 through 5. Do not include your unknown solutions absorbance. We will be analyzing that at a later time. Place concentration on the x-axis and absorbance on the y-axis. Use a linear best fit trend line, and then this is new, but also it's going to be very important. Label it with the equation. So we're going to put in a trend line, and you're going to label it with the equation. I will show you how to do that. Then once you've done that, you'll print your graph. Everyone's going to be turning in their own lab this time, just because some decisions that I made, everyone's going to be turning in their own lab, so everyone needs their own copy of the graph, even though you've done it with everyone as a group. So you're going to go into your graph, and remember, the first thing that you should do is you should share this with all the members of your group. So I did this lab last year with Mrs. Benson, and so I shared it with her. So you're going to share it with everyone in your group, click done, and then in the A column, you're going to type in your concentrations in molarity. So everyone should have the same concentrations. That was our independent variable, the one that we controlled. And then in the B column, you're going to graph your absorbance or chart your absorbance. Now, I just made these numbers up, so I wouldn't recommend copying them. They're probably pretty close, but still wouldn't copy them, and I will know if you copied them. So don't do that. Then once you have all those typed in, you're going to highlight those 2 columns and hit Insert Chart. And you can know if you did it right. Well, the first thing that I want you to do is go over to chart type and click scatter chart. Now, if you have 2 colors like I have here, then you're going to need to do some fixing. That is not currently correct. If you look on the side column here, I do not have an x-axis. That's not good. And if you look back at the Beers Law lab, it said to put, give me just a second, I'm getting mine out. If you look at the Beers Law lab, it says place concentration on the x-axis. So x-axis, I'm going to click this right now, and it says select data range. I'm going to select that column, and I'm going to hit OK. So I selected that column. Well, then it's still kind of funny. Well, series is another word for y-axis. I do not want both of those on the y-axis. In fact, my graph tells me that I only want absorbance on the y-axis. So I'm going to come here, click these 3 dots, and hit remove. I don't want concentration on that y-axis. So you know you've done it right if by x-axis it says concentration, and by series or y-axis it says absorbance. And your graph should look something like this. And another thing that I want you to do then, because it says put in a best fit line, in order to do that, you need to go over to customize and go over to series and scroll down and click trend line. Then remember I had you circle or underline that for the label of your trend line you needed to use the equation. So scroll down a little bit more below trend line and it says label. Right now we have no label, but I want to use the equation for that label. So I'm going to click use equation, and if you look right there, it gave me the equation of the trend line. That equation is in, oh, I forget what form it is, a slope intercept form. So that's y equals mx plus b. So remember, m is your slope, so my slope will be 1.06. And then b is your y-intercept. So my y-intercept is 2.69 times 10 to the negative 4th. So that's really, really close to 0. Those are going to be some questions in the lab later. So make sure you know that this is your slope, and then this number, the second number, is your y-intercept. Okay, then the last thing that I want you to do is I want these grid lines to count by tens. So you're going to go under customize again. You can minimize series. Go down to grid lines. And on the vertical axis, I want the major grid line count to be 10. And then click this horizontal axis, and I want that major grid line to also be 10. Okay. It's going to leave a little bit of blank space on here, but that's totally fine. I am okay with that. So, actually on your horizontal, on second thought, horizontal axis, major grid line, or do 7. That'll make your graph a little bit better. So vertical axis, major grid line count is 10. Horizontal axis, major grid line count is 7. And that should make your graph look like this. The last thing that I'm missing is I am missing labels on my 2 axes. So I'm going to go over to chart and axis titles. This is all under that customize tab. Lots of good stuff under that customize tab. So I already have a chart title. It's concentration and absorbance. That's not my favorite, but it works. So then we'll go to horizontal axis title. Horizontal axis is also known as your x-axis. And if you look in the lab, it told you the x-axis should be concentration. And then our units are big M molarity. That's our horizontal axis title. Then click down to vertical axis title, and that one should be absorbance. And that one doesn't have a label that I want you to worry yourself about, so just write absorbance. As soon as you have reached this point right here, you are ready to print. So you can go ahead and print it. Now, I just want to keep talking to you a little bit, so let me actually just copy this. Oh, it's not going to let me. So I'm going to just talk to you about how we're going to analyze the data. So on your Beer's Law lab, then it says draw a dashed line from your unknown sample's absorbance value on the y-axis over to the best fit line. Then continue that dashed line down to the x-axis. So all that's going to look like is, let's say that my unknown absorbance was 0.05. Or we'll say it was 0.07. I'm going to draw a dashed line over to my line of best fit, and then as soon as it hits my line of best fit, I'm going to go down. So that would tell me that my concentration of my unknown sample was about 0.063 molar. Okay, and that's your conclusion. According to your graph, what is the concentration of your unknown sample? This right here is how you're going to solve for that, is based on your best fit line. Then it says obtain the accepted value for your unknown sample from your teacher. The substitute has those accepted values. So just come up and ask her for those, and she will give them to you as soon as you can show her that that conclusion part is done. Then when she gives it to you, it says calculate your percent error and give several reasons for that error. Then, just by looking at your graph, you should be able to answer questions 1, 2, 3, and 4. They shouldn't take you very long. Make sure that you're thinking through your answers, and writing in complete and thorough sentences. And like I said, if you are working productively, you should be able to get your graph printed, and you should be able to answer those questions and do the error analysis. If you finish your Beers Law Lab, please put it in the bin, the 5th, 6th, or 7th period bin, depending on what class period you're in. And then I will plan on seeing you guys tomorrow. Have a great day.